Now in this video, let's talk about how we can implement all those operations in Java language. So let's get started. So here we have two classes. One is two-dimensional array main, which is basically a driver class, and another class called two-dimensional array, in which we are going to implement all the operations. So the first thing that we need to do is we have to create a blank array. So for that we need a constructor which basically takes as an argument that how many rows and columns will be there in our 2D array. So here we have a constructor method named two-dimensional array. It takes number of rows and number of columns from user. What it does next is it says this dot array. That means the array over here, this is being called, and we are creating a new integer type array which is two-dimensional. It is having rows and column as specified by user. So till end of this line over here, what we have done is we have created a blank array of rows and columns as given by user and assign the reference of that array to ARR array over here. Now after that, what we do here is we have created a loop to visit each and every row out there and insert a minimum value. Now what is the minimum value? It is minus 2 to the power 31. Now I have used it as for my convenience. You can use any other value as you desire. It can be 0, minus 1 or integer.max value, whatever works for you. So now we have successfully created a blank array and we have also inserted a default value in each of the cells out there. Now let's see how we can implement traversal of an array. So the method is extremely simple. The name of the method is traverse array and we have two loops out here. What it does is it visits each and every row and column and prints the content of it. Now we have put the entire for loop in a try-catch block, and the reason is that in case if by mistake we pass an array which is not existing, in that case we don't want the program to stop abruptly. In that case we should always show a proper error message and continue our program. Now let's quickly test both these functions over here, that is the constructor as well as traversal of an array. Now here we see that we have created a object of two-dimensional array class and we have passed row is 5 and column is 5. That means we want an 2D array which is having 5 rows and 5 columns. Now once a blank 2D array is created with a default value of minus 2 to the power 31 in all of the cells, the next thing that we are doing is we want to print what is the content in that array, that is traversal of an array. Now let's quickly run this code. Now as we can see here that it says creating a blank array of size 5 by 5 and we have been successfully able to create an array of 5 by 5 and all the cells out here has a value minus 2 to the power 31. Now let's see what is the next operation that can be done. Now the next operation is inserting a value in the array. So all it does is it takes what is the row and column where do we want to store the value and the value that needs to be stored. So in the if condition we are checking if the cell value is equal to minimum value, that is that cell has never been used and it has a default value, so we can assume that that cell is blank. In that case we insert our desired value in that cell and print saying that successfully inserted in the array. Else we say that this cell is already occupied by another value. Now this is what I have assumed when inserting a value in the array, that if any cell is already occupied by any other value given by user, then I typically don't override it. But there is no such standard thing that we should not override it. Of course, you can always override it. So please, when you are implementing your methods in Java or any other language, please implement it in both the ways. Now once again, we have inserted this if-else block in a try-catch because we don't want the code to stop abruptly. Now let's quickly test this method. So we have called this method insert value using an object SDA. We are passing value row number 0 and column number 2, and the value to be inserted is this value here. And then we are doing a traversal of an array once the insertion is done. Now in this case, we are once again inserting a value in the same place where we had inserted the previous time. So we are expecting that the system should give us an error message saying that the cell is already occupied and we cannot insert any new value in it. Now let's run this code. Now as we can see, it says successfully inserted this number in the array, and the location is this one, that is row number 0, column number 2. Now when we are trying to insert another value in the same cell, in that case we see an error message saying that this cell is already occupied by another value. So I hope you would have understood the insertion part. Now let's see the next operation. Now the next operation is accessing any given cell number. So this is how the code looks like. The name of the function is access single value. It takes the row number and column number, and all it does is it prints the value in that row and column. So once again we have put it into try catch block, and the reason I already told you. Now let's quickly test this. So we are calling this method accessing cell on the object SDA, and we are using different parameters all the time. Once we are using row number 0, column number 2, then we are seeing row number 6, column number 2. But remember that we have only 5 rows in our array. So in this case we should be seeing an error message. And once again we are seeing row number 2, column number 2. Now let's see what is the output. So as we can see here, it says accessing row 0, column number 2, value is this one. So we see here it is printing this value. Then we are trying to access row number 6, and since we don't have a row 6 in this array, so we are getting an exception saying that invalid index to access array. Now if we would not have used the try catch block, in that case our program would have stopped here itself. The control would not have gone to the next statement. So that is the importance of try catch block. Now the last time that we tried to call this function was with 2 and 2 parameters. So it says accessing row number 2, column number 2. Value is this guy over here. So that is all about accessing cell number. Now let's see the next method. So the next operation that can be performed on a 2D array is searching a value in the array. So the name of the method is searching single value, and it takes as an argument the value that needs to be searched. Now we are having 2 loops over here, which basically loops through the entire array and tries to find that is there any cell whose value is equal to the value that we want. In case the answer is yes, then we print saying value is found and this is the location, and then we return this method because we did not search any more after that. But in case if the entire loops completes and we never finds a value, that is we never enter in this if condition, in that case we print over here saying that value is not found in the array. Now let's quickly test this method. So we have called this method searching single value with different parameters, that is 10, minus 2 to the power 31, and this value over here. So let's see how does the output looks like. So it says searching value 10 in the array, value not found in the array. So you see here in this array, we don't have value 10. So it gives a proper message saying that the value does not exist. Now, if we are searching a value minus 2 to the power 31, then it returns saying that value is found at row number 0 and column number 0. Now it returns this row 0 and column 0. Similarly, when we try to search this value in the array, it returns it is found at row number 0 and column number 2. That is row number 0 and column number 2 over here. So this is how we perform the search operation. Now let's see what is the next thing that we can do on this array. So the next operation that can be performed is deleting a value from array from a given cell number. So the method name is delete value. It takes the row number and column number where the value needs to be deleted from. So we have a try catch block where we access the cell number as requested by user and inserts a minimum value there. Now we have inserted this thing into a try catch block as we have already discussed. Now let's quickly test this method. So we have called this delete method with parameter 0 and 2, that is delete row 0 and column number 2. So let's see what is the output here. So before deleting, we were having the array which was looking like this, where 0 and 2 column was having a value 1 0 0 0 0 1. So after deleting, this is how it looks. It has been replaced by minus 2 to the power 31. So that is all about deleting a value from array. Now the last operation that can be performed is deleting the entire array itself. So the code for that is extremely simple. All that we have to do is we have to assign a null to an array. So remember that the value right now in ARR reference variable is the address of the actual 2D array. But since we are assigning a null value here, that means the address of the 2D array has been lost, and when garbage collector comes and sees that there is no reference to that area, the array will be deleted. Now let's quickly test this method. So we are calling delete this array method on SDA object, and then we are trying to access traversal array method using the same object SDA. But remember that when we call this method delete, in that case the array has already been deleted. So when we try to access the same array using traverse array method, it should ideally throw an error saying that the array does not exist. So let's see how does the output looks like. So as we can see here, it says array has been successfully deleted and then printing the array now. And when the array has already been deleted, nothing can be printed. So the system says array does not exist. So this is all about implementing a 2D array in Java. Hope you would have understood the code. So this entire code will be available in the resource section. But please don't directly go and see the code. Try to implement the same thing on your own and see that what is the kind of a mistake that you are doing. And if you are still not able to solve it, then please come to this code and see it in resource section. That way you will be able to understand both the code as well as the methods more efficiently, and also you will be able to remember these things for a longer period of time. So that is all for this video. In the next video, we'll talk about what are the practical uses of an array. Thanks for your time. See you in the next video.